American fast food chain Jack in the Box is in the news. They've been hit with a lawsuit by a Florida man who says that his life and his family's lives were all put in danger over a dispute with an employee at one of their locations in Houston, Texas over curly fries. Shout out to Robert for sending this story in. I appreciate you, Robert. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click that notification bell for all updates. If you're from Houston, drop Houston below in the comments and let me know what in the world is going down in H-Town. On March 3rd, 2021, Anthony Ramos went to the airport to pick up his 6-year-old daughter and his wife, who was pregnant with their second child. They flew in to see him from Miami, where Anthony is from. He was in Houston at the time, working after the big winter freeze of 2021 that devastated many families in Texas. Anthony happy to see his family. They all left the airport smiling and excited to be together. His daughter in the back seat was hungry from the flight, so he stopped at the Jack in the Box on JFK Boulevard near Bush Airport in Houston. He pulled up to the drive-thru and placed his order, but after making payment, Anthony checked the bag and noticed that he did not see the curly fries that he ordered. Being that Anthony paid for the fries but he didn't get them, he told the employee working the drive-thru that the curly fries were not in the bag, but she refused to give him the fries. So even though he already paid for them, he offered to pay for another order of fries just so he can get some fries. The employee, identified as Alania Ford, told him no once again. And then from there, that's when everything escalated. She got triggered when Anthony asked for her manager. Alania became so upset that she started throwing ketchup, ice, and other items into Anthony's car. She was yelling and cursing at him, and then she pulled out a gun. As soon as Anthony saw the gun, he quickly drove away as Alania started shooting towards his car.
All right, now this is just crazy. An argument over Jack in the Box curly fries led to an employee pulling out a gun and shooting at a customer in the drive-thru.
Yeah, now the victims are suing that franchise, demanding that they enforce stricter background checks on its workers. Fox 26's Natalie He has the details of this story from North Houston.
I was dumbfounded about it. I really couldn't believe it was happening. I mean, it was scary. Very, very scary.
Anthony Ramos is still trying to process the violent situation that transpired at this Jack in the Box near Bush Airport. On March 3rd of last year, Anthony's pregnant wife and 6-year-old daughter went to the drive-thru on John F. Kennedy Boulevard and ordered food, including curly fries.
And when they asked to get curly fries, they were denied. And now keep in mind that there's no car behind them, so there was no rush to get them out. They even offered to pay for the curly fries, even though they had already paid for it already, but the answer was no, and pretty soon there was shouting.
Court documents say the Jack in the Box employee, Alania Ford, became upset and started throwing ketchup, ice, and other items into the family's car, then yelled curse words before pulling out a gun and shooting. Anthony says he managed to drive away before the bullet struck his car.
It was more of a panic mode at that moment. You know, I was lucky that I was able to, I saw it when I saw it, and I was able to pull off when I did. And then my initial reaction was to call the police.
Apparently, it's our information that the manager was aware of this while it was happening and did not choose to step in and de-escalate.
Records show Ford was later arrested and pled guilty to the lesser charge of deadly conduct. Attorneys representing Anthony and his family are now suing Jack in the Box, demanding stricter background checks be enforced on its workers.
We are here today to ask Jack in the Box to get better policies, and policies where potentially dangerous employees are not allowed to interact with the public, where they could be a great danger.
Fox 26 reached out to the owner of the Jack in the Box for comment and are still waiting to hear back.
Now, from my understanding, the bullet, it did graze the back of the SUV. That's where Anthony's daughter was sitting. Alania was arrested. She only spent 6 days in jail, and then they basically gave her probation for a year. Anthony's attorney, they're seeking $250,000 to $1 million for this incident. What I really want to know is, why did they allow her to take the lesser charge? Now you have this dangerous woman, she's out here on the streets, and you better believe if she was able to get away with that, she won't get any better. She's going to become more aggressive, more dangerous, because she suffered no real consequences the first time. Do I think Jack in the Box will have more strict background checks? I don't think so. I think they're going to settle with Anthony out of court and everything is going to stay the same. For one, it's very tough to fill positions like this these days. Low-paying, unskilled labor. That's going to attract some decent young people just getting in the workforce, but it will also attract people like Alania, who can't really get work anywhere else, and it's probably her bad attitude and emotional instability that's keeping her from being able to do better in life. We gotta be honest, a lot of people working at these jobs, going to work and being able to tell somebody no, or feeling like they're in charge of something, even if it's as small as being responsible or being in charge of taking orders at the drive-thru. That's a highlight for them and probably one of the only places where they feel like they have some sort of authority. You know, they have authority over your food. They can tell you, no, I'm not giving you anything. Or, yeah, I know you said you paid for it, but I'm just gonna combat you over this and we can have a whole big blowout and I'm gonna win. Especially when you're dealing with modern women, they always have to win. And then the management at places like this, they're not any better. The manager should have stepped in and told her to give the man the fries. But just like that Taco Bell situation in Dallas that I covered some time ago, the manager did nothing to de-escalate the situation. And by the way, the manager at the Dallas Taco Bell was worse. Instead of giving the 16-year-old girl and her auntie the missing tacos, she poured hot boiling water on them. And she was never arrested. Never arrested at all. But that Taco Bell drive-thru employee had the same attitude that Alania had at the Jack in the Box. The customer telling them they're missing something, but then they refuse to give them the missing item that they paid for. In this Jack in the Box situation, luckily the bullets did not hit Anthony, his daughter, or his pregnant wife. His family is safe, but I'm sure this was a very traumatic experience for them. Honestly, it's really not worth it. You know, getting shot at over fries. If you have a situation like this and the manager isn't doing anything either, definitely leave, call corporate, get your money back. And if for me, I'm sorry, I'd rather just make the food at home. Stay away from these unhinged people. We're talking about people who don't even care about their own lives, or people whose lives are so out of control that being able to be in control and give you a hard time, that's the highlight of their day. I definitely wouldn't want folks like that preparing my food or even being around them. I understand sometimes you have to go through the drive-thru, and either way, customers shouldn't be treated like this. And shout out to all the men working with the crews after these storms. Many of them having to go out of town following the storms. They're working to help put things back in order quickly for the residents. Many of the citizens of those areas, they don't know the sacrifice it takes to get those jobs done. They're just happy the job is getting done. That power could have still possibly been off at that Jack in the Box for people like Alania to be able to go to work. A lot of times those guys, they have to live in hotels while they're working in these cities, so they find themselves in the drive-thru of these fast food restaurants, not knowing they can meet disrespectful people like Alania or disrespectful people like the ones over at the drive-thru at Taco Bell in Dallas. And if you missed that story, the link will be below for you to check it out. All I gotta say is Chick-fil-A would never. And then you see how I said that, right? Watch how next week somebody's gonna be over there fighting over waffle fries and Polynesian sauce at Chick-fil-A. I just can't with all these crazy people. Just stay safe out there, folks. Let's go ahead and get this conversation started. Anthony and his lawyer, they are asking for background checks to solve issues like this. What do you think the real solution is? Go ahead and sound off below. Shout out to our brother Dark Power. I appreciate you, brother, for all of your support for this channel. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.